Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we're going to be taking some things that may seem scary and making them not scary. I figure we're right around Halloween. You know, I gotta do a little nod to the spooky season. Halloween is like my favorite, it's like my favorite holiday. I'm in New England, I love the fall, I love trick-or-treaters, just the whole costume thing, just absolutely love it. So, what I thought we could do is take a look at the new Pat McGrath, which I got forever ago and still haven't had a chance to review. And instead of doing a true review, don't worry, I'm going to talk about the formula and all that good stuff, but I'm going to show you how you can use something that's, for many people, a little scary and use it as something more everyday. Now, is Pat McGrath everyday? It is if you want it to be. That's really the thing about makeup, guys. You know, you can take anything and make it fit your lifestyle, your look, the thing that you enjoy. So if you really like super colorful makeup and you can wear that every day and feel very comfortable, then you're gonna have no problem with this just right off the bat. But if you're like many of the people who have written in and asked me about this palette, you're frankly a little scared of it. So it was when I was thinking about things to do for Halloween, I was like, oh, okay, this is perfect. Let me show you this one in comparison to the last 2 years. We'll talk about formula, and then I'll show you how you can use it for like an everyday look. I also have the mascaras. I have all three. I have the green, the blue, and the pink. What I'll tell you about the mascaras is that for most of us, again, this is a generalization, this probably won't work for a work day. At least in my job, if I showed up with the green or the blue or the pink mascara on my eyes, I mean, I don't think anyone would, I don't think I'd suddenly get fired, but I think it would be an issue. So, unless it was like a day to dress up, like for Halloween or something. And I think many of us might be in that category. So, I am not arguing that the mascaras are everyday for a lot of folks. For some people, it won't matter. You know, you can wear whatever you like and it's great. You're in a creative job, it's encouraged. So I'm not going to say that about the mascaras, but I think the mascaras are more, I think they're less scary than people think. They are actually really pretty shades, and they're good mascaras. Like, I actually like the way the mascaras work. And I think you can use them in a more subtle way than putting it all over your lashes. You can put them on the tips of your lashes, like you put black mascara on and then put the pink or the green or the blue on the tips. And it's actually kind of just like a little nod, and it looks really cool. Just a tip out there for somebody who wants to do a little bit of colored mascara but doesn't want the full look. I will show you what the full look looks like today, and then you can gauge whether or not you feel comfortable with it. So let's talk about the palette. So these are referred to as the Mothership Mega. This is Celestial Nirvana. Last year was Celestial Divinity, sorry. And then the Mothership Mega before that was Celestial Odyssey, or the other way around. I'm not sure which year was which. I'm sure you guys will all tell me. But I'll tell you right now, the one that I like, I'm pretty sure this is 2 years ago, almost positive, but you'll tell me, is this one. This one has, and I've done a video on it and I'll link it above. It has great shades in it. It works really well. This is Celestial Odyssey. I really like this one, and actually I use it quite a bit. And I think the shades in here, the formulas in here are good. I don't have any problems with the formulas. Sometimes, for those of you who are not familiar with Pat McGrath, her motherships are always like, the formulas in her motherships are always amazing. You might not like the color story or, you know, the look that you get, but maybe it's too much for you. Some people don't like very pigmented eyeshadows, but the formulas are always amazing. The Mega Motherships, in my opinion, have varying levels of quality in the palette. Some of the shades are really good. Some of the shades kind of are piecey. Some of the shades are iffy. Some of the mattes are kind of dry. So, and that really applied like to this one. This is the Mothership Mega, the Celestial Divinity. First of all, it wasn't really my color story. There's a lot of purples and cool tones in here. There's some shades I like, but for the most part, it just wasn't for me. And so this one, was not, of the three color story-wise, actually this was my least favorite. But the formulas were pretty good and they performed. The Odyssey, I didn't have any problems with any of the shades. I really didn't. And if you look at the two of these, this is the Nirvana, they look very similar. Like the packaging is exactly the same, the layout is the same, boxes are the same. And there's actually, well, I shouldn't say the layout's exactly the same. In this one, there's the Pat McGrath thing in the middle, so it's kind of like a spread out in the middle level, where this one, it's all the same. But other than that, you know, it's the same kind of thing. I would say, and I'm just finger swatching really quickly from the Odyssey. I'm just like, not even, just lightly putting my fingers into the shades. These look beautiful. They look beautiful on. There are some gorgeous, gorgeous shades in this one, and I really find this one to be like fun to use. And I think the formula is really good and I've enjoyed it. So if you can find the Odyssey somewhere, I actually think it's worth picking up. It should be on sale, but I think it's worth picking up. This new one, the Nirvana, I don't have the same commentary to impart on the formula. Some of the formulas were really good, and overall, I'd say it works better than, like, you know, like practically half of the other products that are out on the market, because it's Pat McGrath. Like, I didn't think it was going to be bad, but there's an expectation with Pat McGrath that everything she does is exemplary and her prices are expensive. So I think there's also this expectation because she comes out with these revolutionary formulas, and you know, she was sort of the first to kind of have the duochrome, multi-chrome thing go mainstream. I mean, there's a lot of independents that have it, but you know, Pat McGrath is a big name. So I guess, and again, I'm not going to do a full review here because it's too late to do that. You've seen a million of them already, and you know, I'm sure you've heard that the formulas they're not up to what many people would consider Pat McGrath level, right? It's still a beautiful palette. I actually think there's shades in here that are very pretty and very usable, and that's what I'm going to do today. But I would not tell you that this is like a Mothership palette and you should go out and it's absolutely worth it to pick up, because I can't really say that. I think that would be unfair for me to say. On the other hand, I think there's shades in here, and I'm just like finger swatching. I think there are shades in here that are actually really nice. And really wearable. And I think you might find that there's ones that work better for you because some of them are a little less over the top, maybe. Again, it's a preference thing. So you have to just, you know, think about it that way. The green shade in here, this very deep forest green, which actually was like the main reason I picked this thing up, which I know sounds funny since it's one shade. It's a little patchy, actually. It's not bad, but it's not as pretty on as it is in the pan. And I would say there's actually quite a few shades like that in this palette, where you're like, oh, it looks beautiful in the palette, and on the face, it looks nice. I mean, it's nice. I'm not saying it's bad, because it's not a bad palette. It's just, you know, it looks nicer in the pan than it does on the eye. And again, and I say this in addition to other videos that I've done where people have been like, you didn't like the product, but it looked really nice on you. Yes. Look, I am not a pro makeup artist. I was a makeup artist, but I don't do it for a living. I haven't done it for 25 years. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm not Kevin Aquan. I recognize my limitations. I'm a good makeup artist. I was a good makeup artist. I can make something that's not great look pretty good. That's not me bragging. That's work. I mean, I practiced for a long time and I did a lot of training. So, you know, it's like anything. If you spend time on it, you'll get better. So yeah, I can take something that I don't particularly like and make it look pretty good, but I'm trying to impart to all of you, for somebody who isn't a makeup artist, for somebody who's not spending a lot of time, for somebody who just wants to pick something up that's worth their money, that is easy for them to use, because I think that's what most of us want. Yeah, this is not, like I'll say, this is not worth that, or this isn't up to that level. I am a terrible cook. Terrible. Absolutely awful. Can't cook anything. So for me, when somebody says, I have a great recipe for you, it doesn't matter if it's the most phenomenal food I've ever had at the end. It needs to be easy for me. If it's not easy for me, there's no point, because first of all, I'll never do it. And second, if I tried to do it, I would screw it up. So I would never get the fabulous thing at the end. I need a really good recipe that's simple and easy to follow. I know that about myself. I think most people are like that. I don't think most of us are great cooks. One of my very good friends, Jenny, is an amazing cook. She's the kind of person that can look at a kitchen and be like, oh, I have these 20 things. I'm just gonna make something. I have no idea how that works. Like, I have no idea how your mind does that. Like, totally lost to me. So I equate that to what I'm doing here for beauty. I want to recommend things to you that I think for the largest swath of people will be something you enjoy, something you like, something you're worth your money. I am sure there's like a very small percentage who will be like, oh, I can make this work by doing this, this, and this, which is great. That's fantastic. If something I say I don't like, you love, that's fantastic. I'm glad you bought something that works for you. I just don't ever want to say, yeah, this is a great thing, and then somebody gets it and they're like, I cannot make this work for the life of me. Because I think that's kind of my purpose here. Otherwise, I mean, you guys can go out and buy all this makeup. It's all online. I think, at least from what my feedback has been, is that you're looking for a trusted source for someone to tell you, here are the pros, here are the cons for this. So that's what I'm trying to do, just in general. And here today with this palette. So I'm gonna try to do a, I think, relatively user-friendly look that in case you decide to pick it up, you know, you can figure out how to do that with this. I would tell you right now, this will be on sale if it's not on sale already. It might actually already be on sale, and it will be on sale for the holidays. It might even be up to like, 40 or 50% off, because these things, when they don't, I don't think this has sold particularly well, this particular one. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. So I think, you'll be able to get it, at a cheaper price. So let's go to Desert Divinity, which is this matte here. And that sometimes is the case. Like sometimes I'll be like, hey, this is a really great palette if you could get it half off. Or this is worth it if it's on sale. That kind of thing. Like there are products like that. And then there's the Tom Ford product, the Velours Khaki and the Violet Sateen that are on sale right now as I film this. And I was like, they're on sale? Why are they on sale? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad they're on sale. But like they're to me, like the best product of 2023. So, like you have to get, if you're going to buy one eyeshadow palette this year, one of those. Anyway, so this is the Desert Divinity, I think was the name of it. And I think you can see like what I'm talking about. Like this is a fine shadow. There's nothing wrong with the shadow. It's like a pinky brown shadow, and it actually is a good transition for me. But do you see how it almost, as and I didn't, I haven't gone back and forth like too much with it or anything. You see how it almost kind of disappeared in its intensity? That's what a lot of these do. Like you put them on, you'll be like, oh, that's done. And then you go to, and it kind of dissipates. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's not what I thought it was going to be. Again, that actually might work for a lot of people, because I have heard from many of you out there that you don't buy certain things because you think they're going to be too pigmented. So, you might actually end up liking some of this more. Color I'm using is Nightfall. It's a deep, deep brown. All right, so I'm putting this Nightfall over it, and you can see what I mean. Like, again, there's nothing wrong with the shade, but it kind of loses its intensity a little bit. It looks like it's going to be, a deeper, more impactful thing, and then kind of blends out Don't have any primer or anything on my eyes, guys. I always do, when I first do a look with a palette, I don't do that so you guys can see what it looks like. But if I do use an eye primer, it's the Gerard Cosmetics eye primer. Honestly, the only one I like. There's one other, there's Tom Ford, that's good for like older, mature eyes, you know, that kind of thing. But for an overall statement about eye primers, the only one I like and the only one I use is the Gerard Cosmetics. It's excellent. Okay. So I'm going to take, there's not really like a white matte or a light matte in here, which to be honest with you, always annoys me when there's a very large palette, because I'm like, you couldn't have put one cream. Sorry, that's just my thing. Because if I'm going to put like shades up in my brow and stuff, and they're going to be light, I don't want them to be shiny because my eyes are older, but I'll probably use like this shade here, which is Cosmic Champagne. And again, you can, I'll show you Cosmic Champagne. You can use shimmery shades on your brows. It's not like you can't. I try to stay away from that a little bit. Again, I've talked about it a couple of times, as your eyes, you know, as your skin gets older. Sometimes adding shimmer to this area can be tricky because you have more texture and, you know, your skin sags a little as you age, all those things. So I go in very lightly with any type of shimmer right into my brow. I prefer some kind of satin or matte shade. And that's why like any big palette, like my favorite big palettes all have that, you know, one cream or tan, something light, doesn't really matter. The shade in here that's also light, this like white, it's a lavender. It's actually really pretty. I actually do like this shade. And I think this is very much like an opalescent. It's creamy. It's actually a nice opalescent, like lilac reflective shade. If I was doing a look that was like a cool look, I would do that for you guys today, but I do think that one's nice. Let me see if I can figure out a way to work that one in, maybe like inner corner or something like that. All right, so now I'm gonna take the shade, again, we're using this to create something that's not scary. So I'm gonna use, you know, shades that most people are gonna feel comfortable with. So just, you know, keep that in mind. There's a lot of pretty shades, but I'm trying to use ones that, you know, most people will be like, oh yes, I would wear that. Okay, so this one is Bronze Infatuation. And it is a shimmery shade, but it's more neutral, and I'm using it lightly. I'm not going in and really patting it on my eye. If you pat her, I'm gonna pat a little bit now. So you'll notice if I pat it, you know, you get more intensity, and that's a good thing. That's what the formula should do. If you have a shimmery shade that you put on your eye and you know, pat a little bit, and it frankly just disperses and becomes super light, it's not really a very good product. So like I said, her formula is still good. This is not a bad palette, and the formulas in here aren't generally bad, but they don't feel as special as a Mothership or, you know, some of like her 5 pans. I also have her 5 pans, and if you're interested in seeing a review of those, I will show you those as well. And they have a new formula in them. Spoiler alert, they're different. I'll give her that, but I wasn't blown away by them. Okay. Sorry guys. All right. So again, it's Pat McGrath. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, I was like, okay, it's fine. All right. So there's a gold and like a yellow gold in here as well. Here's the true gold, and here's like the yellow gold. The gold shade is Heavenly Bronze, and the lighter golden shade is Golden Angelica. I'm going to take the lighter golden shade, and I'm going to put that with my finger. I'm just patting this on, I'd say like the inner part of the eye, but into the middle. And I'm just going to brush it in very lightly, and I'm just lightening it up a little bit. Now I'm going to take that opalescent shade, because I just want to use it and I think it's pretty, on the inner corner. It's very reflective. It's like I said, it's like a lilac. It's going to be beautiful with the cool shades in here. If you want to use it that way, I think it'll be very nice. Okay, so that is a very non-scary every day. Like, it's a little over the top maybe for some of us, but I think it's a pretty neutral look. And I think it looks beautiful on. I think absolutely anyone could do what I just did. And I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the shades in here to get this look. So it's, you know, I tried to use different things. I'm sorry, 6 of the shades to get something that, you know, used up a couple of different shades. I think you still get a very beautiful and very usable look. I could do the exact same thing with the cool shades in here. You could take the purples in here and you could do the same kind of look. You just go in lightly, and the green. You could take the green and make it more like green gold and just use the green as the contour. Just keep it on the outer corner of the eye and it's gonna look less dramatic. So I think, you know, that's a way to do that. I'm gonna take a little bit of that green because we're gonna use the green mascara. You're gonna notice the green mascara, by the way, is not as green as this. It's more aqua. So we're gonna take the green and literally place it outer corner of the eye. And I am dabbing it. Even though this green is patchy, it is a little patchy. If you put it over her other shades, like dab it in, it looks fine. It doesn't look like it's patchy at all. Because it is, like I said, Pat McGrath, you know, it's still a good green. Not a great one, but a good one, in my opinion. So I'm just adding it a little bit to the outside of the eye. And see, now you have a little bit of that green added to your look. And what I would do to, like, sort of, in my words, finish it, I would take that green, run it under the eye a little bit, go over it with a little bit of brown so that it doesn't kind of blends in with the top look. Very, very everyday for most of us. I think this would be fine. I could take that green and blow it out more. I could make it more like intense. Lots of ways that you can make this look more dramatic, but as an everyday, non-scary kind of look, I think that's it. Or one of the ways you could do that. But I certainly think this is a everyday, a little bit more intense, okay, maybe, depending on who you are, but I think it's a really nice, easy look to do. I'm just blending this green in just a tad bit, because like I said, this green, it's not bad, guys. It's just not, it's a little bit harder to work with than some of her other, I think the issue again is what you're comparing it against. You know, Pat McGrath is usually so like perfect that when her formulas aren't just super easy to use and blendable and everything else, you notice because you're just like, oh, wait a minute. The other, you know. So yes, they work. It's fine. There's not a problem with it. It's just not as easy to manipulate. But I still think that's a beautiful everyday look. The formula is really pretty. It's not like there's anything wrong with any of these things. It's just, it's not out of this world. I think it's just good. I think this is a good palette. Not a great one. And the colors in here, I think, actually look very different on the eye than they do. I think they look different on the eye than they do in the pan. I think this looks very colorful and very kind of like, ooh, lots of different colors. And then when you put them on the eye, I actually think it's more subdued than people think, which can be good or bad, depending on how you like color. So I am gonna put the mascara on in a minute and we'll use the green one so you guys can see it. But I wanted to show you, I have a lip gloss that came with the set as well. And this is the heavy, what's the name of it again? I have to look up the name like 4 times. Heavy Petal Lush Gloss. Now this thing looks pink to me. And it is, it's pink. It's very pink. That is super pink. Let's try it next to the mascara, because I bet you it's close to the color mascara. If you're wondering what's on my cheeks right now, by the way, for blush, I'm going to show you that in a minute, because that's the other non-scary thing I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, it's very close to the blush, to the mascara. There's the mascara color. There's the gloss. So if you want to do a super matchy look, you could buy this gloss in Heavy Petal and the pink mascara, and you would have a look. I would say, like, if you were trying to do more of like an 80s look, or if you just really like pink, that would be a good way to go. I mean, I think that actually would look, I think that would be fun. I don't think I'd look great in it, but I think it's kind of fun. So I went ahead and put Flesh Astral on my lips. It's very neutral, very not scary. So on my cheeks, I wanted to mention, I have on what to me could be a little bit of, you know, a difficult color for me to wear. It's beautiful, but way too deep. This is the Night Bloom eyeshadow from Pat McGrath. And I love the colors in here. I love, you know, like a red and a plum. It's really beautiful. But because of my coloring, it's just too bright. Like it's too much on my skin tone. Now I know I have things underneath, but you can kind of see how deep these are for me. So I put the red on underneath my foundation, then put my foundation on. This is the Chanel Touche, the Touch. Looks amazing. So let's add a little bit of Pat McGrath highlighter on as well. Now this is one of my favorite Pat McGrath highlighters. This is Champagne Gold. This is old. This has been around for a while. I'm not even sure you can get this anymore. I don't know. If it is available on the Pat McGrath site, I really recommend this one. I think it's beautiful. It's kind of like a very pink highlighter, but it's not super blingy. A lot of the Pat McGrath highlighters, although stunning, are like a little much for me. So I like this one. I think it gives like a beautiful glow, and I love the shade, but I can use, you know, brushes with it that make it like perfect for me. So the red underneath, again, this is the Night Bloom, and I just used the red part. Underneath, I put it on when I had nothing on my face, put the foundation on over it. It works beautifully. It looks really nice. It looks healthy, but not too deep at all. Really, really beautiful. The Flesh Astral Gloss, I love the shade. It is really, really neutral, guys. I get that, but I just couldn't do the bright pink today. Not today. So we're going for a non-scary, everyday kind of look. So I could have done for Halloween just like the full-blown thing, like tons of, but I actually have to wear this makeup, so I figured I didn't want to scare everybody on my Zoom calls. So here's the green and the blue. So we have Ultraviolet Blue, and we have Aquamarine Dream. And so what I'll tell you about the green and the blue, the green looks like aqua to me. So the Aquamarine, that makes sense. It's not like the green that's in the eyeshadow palette, like a foresty green. It's aqua. It's bright. It's yeah, it's bright. So maybe I'll call this the scary and the non-scary. The shadow we made look, scary. I'm joking around, but like that to a lot of people, they're like, oh my goodness, I could never wear that. You can wear it. It's just color. It won't hurt you. All right, so let's do the Aquamarine. And like I was saying, I actually really like this mascara. I think it looks really nice on. It's like, there's a lot of mascara. What I mean is like, there's a lot on the brush. So you have to be a little careful because you can easily like glob it on a little too easily, accidentally. Or at least I did. But it coats your lashes, like there's no question. But I think this would work really well on tips. Like I think if you put black mascara on and then you put this on the ends, I think that would look really nice actually. A color like this one, like green or blue, actually don't show up as much as a black mascara would. I'm gonna see if I can get like super close to the screen so you can see the mascara. Because like I said, even though, yeah, it's green or aqua, it actually doesn't look as dramatic because contrast. So I'm gonna kind of move so you can see it. And then I'll close my eyes so you can see what it looks like kind of against my skin. So again, although green or blue mascara might seem a little scary to you, or maybe not. Maybe you wear green mascara and blue mascara all the time. But this one in my opinion, actually is a really good mascara. It's very wet. It's a very thick formula. To me, these feel different than her other her dark star, geez, mascara. Like I have her dark star mascara, and I don't actually. It's not that I dislike it. It's okay. It's not my favorite. This mascara though works really well. It goes on really easily. It is wet. Like if you don't like a wet mascara, then you won't like this. But it coats the lashes really easily, and it actually looks really dramatic, even when it's green. So I have to go back and try it. Maybe I had a bad one. I don't know, because it wasn't this easy to use. At least I don't remember it being. But yeah, it's lengthening, it's volumizing, it looks really pretty. I mean, it's green. This one's green, but I actually think like to do something just a little bit fun, a little bit different. I mean, to me, this doesn't look scary at all. In fact, this looks less intense than a black mascara would look. And I think the formula for the shades, I think you can see the eyeshadow does look stunning. It looks really beautiful on the eye and very, as I promised, very, everyday, not a scary look at all. So I think, color can be scary to some folks, and I totally get that. But you can use color in a way that is easier for you to get, comfortable with. And the more you use it, the more comfortable that you will get. If you don't like this green or blue, or if I did pink, I probably don't think I'd like the pink mascara, but who knows? Again, I shouldn't limit myself, but use it as tips. Like do the black mascara or brown, and then just do the tips, the shade. Because again, it'll be more subtle than you think, because actually, like I said, keep saying, black is actually more intense. So if you just put it on your tips, it'll be very intense, like very subtle, so you won't really even notice. And overall, I would say the mascaras are really good. I like the formula. I like the shades. I think they're fun. I think they're pretty. The blue is almost like a purple blue. The green is an aqua. The pink you saw is bright pink. If you're looking for like a colorful mascara, either for every day because you like colorful mascara, or to use at certain times of the year, I think these are really good ones. They're very pigmented. So they actually show you like the color. They're not like the mascaras that are blue, but they're not really blue. These really are pigmented in their shade. So I think she did a great job with that. The palette, this Celestial Nirvana, of the three that I have, this would be my second favorite. The first favorite is the Odyssey, then the Divinity, and then the Odyssey, then this one, then the Divinity. It's not a bad palette. It's just that I think there's here's my two issues. It looks super colorful. So for the people that were looking for something super colorful, it's not really, because the shades aren't, at least they're not that intense when I use them. They kind of blend out a little bit and a little tough to use. So the colorful shades, like the blue and the purple and the green, they're nice, but they're not wow. They're more wow in the pan. So if you were looking for something super colorful and really dramatic, this isn't really it. If you're somebody who likes something really subtle, you probably weren't looking at this in the first place. So it doesn't really fit either group. You kind of see what I mean? This is a little bit more subtle and more for people who don't want something that's like really dramatic, because I think the shades are a little bit, they're not as impactful as some of the other Pat McGraths. Do I think it's pretty? Yes. Do I think you can create a nice look with it? Yes. But I don't think it's worth the money that you would pay for it at full price. And I don't think it's as good as other Pat McGrath products. So that was my way of, yeah, and guys, one of the reasons I'm careful not to get on here and just say something like, this is terrible, don't get it, is because I do believe that everyone does have preferences and everybody does have a right to what they think is good and bad. If I really hate something, like just hate it, you'll know, I'll tell you. But if I think something is more of a, this is okay, like this product, I'm not gonna beat it up. I just don't see the point of that kind of negativity. It's not who I am. I can get salty about it and be like, why is it so expensive for what you're getting? That I can say. But overall, I think it's, it's a decent palette. And I think a lot of the shades in there are very, very pretty. I think a lot of you will like it if you get it. Get it on sale. I'm sure it will be on sale for the holidays. I just want to show you, there's one shade in here which one is this? I think it's the, yeah, it's the one that I said is like, it's smooth. It's Eternal Amour. It's not the kind of shade that I particularly like because it reminds me of the Bridgerton collection. But I will say to you, it's very creamy. And if you look at that, like that's like wet. Like it's a stunning looking shade and formula. It's beautiful. And there's like one or two in here that are like that, but they're kind of in the shades that Pat McGrath tends to, again, it's preference, lean towards, but they're not really the shades that I, love and that I tend to wear. So it's a little bit lost on me. So if you like if you're looking for this, this is stunning and it's in here and it's beautiful and you can mix it with some of the other shades, then I totally get it. Like I get why you would be like, oh no, Jen, I love this thing. Some of the other shades, like the blue, that bright blue that's in here, when you look at it in comparison, it's not, I mean, look, I'm not saying it's ugly. It's a beautiful blue, but can you see how it's not as somehow unique? Like it's a beautiful blue, but there's lots of other, like you're like, yeah, but this one has something like special about it, like the formula that it's made up out of, and you can feel it. It's different. There's a different formula for that. And that's what I'm saying. There are shades in here that have the special Pat McGrath-ness. See the difference? Like you can see this one's different. There's something super special about this one. These are still beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there's something special about a few of them. And so if you're somebody who, loves Pat McGrath and you're looking for the every shade is special, buy the Mothership, buy the, Mothership palettes, the black ones. Those are the ones that have that quality. So that's just my take. So thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful Halloween, and I hope to see you in another video really soon.